how do you see this new agreement, a strategic mutual defense agreement signed by Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, under which the two sides now say an attack on either of them would be considered an aggression against both?
This agreement is a very quick response to Israel's attack upon Doha. With that attack, Israel had proclaimed that every space in West Asia, including the royal families and their military facilities, were now within the Israeli target zone. Israel had rejected also any restraint posed by the United States security arrangements with these Gulf countries over the last 50 years. Obviously, with the breakdown of the security order all across the region, there is a need, the region has felt that there is a need to build up a new security arrangement. So Saudi Arabia has gone back to its traditional military partner, Pakistan, and has very quickly signed a military agreement with them, a defense agreement with them. This is the background.
But Talmiz Ahmed, yes, Israel targeted Doha, and that might be the immediate reason for this kind of pact. But the fact also is there was a skirmish between India, a war between India and Pakistan only in May, Operation Sindoor. God forbid, if there was to be another terror attack and India was to declare war on Pakistan, Saudi Arabia under this agreement would see it as a war against Saudi Arabia itself. Am I right?
I don't believe that that aspect should give us sleepless nights. I do not envisage any scenario in which Saudi Arabia will stand side by side with Pakistan on the battlefield against India. Such a scenario is not feasible, and I don't think that it has got any unique value. We are looking at it from the perspective relating to Delhi. But I think this language relates, it's a very general language, and it is used very frequently in such defense agreements. It is there in all the NATO agreements. But I don't believe that here we need to have any special worries in this regard.
So are you saying, sir, that India can have completely independent strategic relations with Riyadh, independent of this defense pact that Saudi Arabia has struck with Pakistan? You can have two independent lines in a way?
India already has a strategic partnership agreement with Saudi Arabia. It goes back to 2010 when Dr. Manmohan Singh had visited Riyadh, and it is enshrined in the Riyadh Declaration. Since then, due to the efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the strategic content has been given far greater substance. We have dialogue platforms at the apex level, at the level of National Security Advisor, at the level of External Affairs Minister, and we have a very thriving joint commission. India's approach to the region is bilateral. Therefore, we have very substantial ties, indeed strategic ties, with all the countries of the region. But we are not involved with the region's security. We have not so far taken a serious regional perspective as far as security is concerned. Therefore, as far as we are concerned, we have a very similar arrangement with the Saudis, though obviously India does not involve itself with any security role as far as the region is concerned. Pakistan has a very different approach, which is why Saudi relations with India and Saudi relations with Pakistan are completely different. As far as we are concerned, Saudi Arabia looks at us as an energy partner, economic partner, logistical connectivity partner, and we have a substantial community, and we are also technological partners. As far as Pakistan is concerned, none of these matter to that relationship. Pakistan is crucially a part of a defense arrangement as far as the kingdom is concerned, and this is the role that it has played for the last 60, 70 years.
My final question, sir, given what the uncertainty that we've seen in the region, in West Asia, Netanyahu and the Israelis striking at different countries around them. The fact what happened in Doha a few days ago, do you believe that this agreement will only widen the sense of instability in the region, could lead to Pakistan getting involved more and more in the Middle East? And where does it leave the US and China?
These are very legitimate concerns. The region is in turmoil. And this is overwhelmingly due to the absence of any strategic vision or purpose in Tel Aviv. Israel is now just involved with mass murder as an end in itself. There is no strategic purpose as far as their actions are concerned. Their prime minister wishes to prolong the conflict as much as possible. The words peace process and ceasefire are totally anathema to him because they could open up serious inquiries into his own conduct, both with regard to corruption and with regard to the responsibility for the 7th October attack. Therefore, for him, these are just attacks which will continue. He has also found that the Americans have no interest or capacity to restrain him. We had all imagined that Secretary of State Rubio, when he had gone across to Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, he would counsel restraint. On the contrary, he has done no such thing. He has voiced total support for Netanyahu as far as Hamas is concerned, as far as Gaza is concerned. And indeed, there is no indication that the Americans have any concern about the mass murder and genocide that is being perpetrated by Israel. Therefore, the rest of the region has to now develop alternative security arrangements that are credible. I think there will be a churn. There will be lot of discussion in this regard. Many countries that had been subordinate to the American strategic architecture will now be rebuilding new arrangements among themselves. Therefore, you will see a lot of activity taking place. These are very early days. We cannot necessarily study the implications of each and every event. For example, where the Pakistan-Saudi agreement is concerned, we have still to see what are the details. This is a very quick statement of mutual solidarity. But what are the details? What is the role that is envisaged for Pakistan? And in what situations will its troops be engaged? Will there be major exercises that will bring their armed forces together? Will this agreement only confine itself to Saudi Arabia? Will other GCC countries also become partners? All of these are not known to us. Above all, we don't know what is the role of China. China is a very major economic and defense partner as far as Pakistan is concerned and as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned. Surely there could be a triangular arrangement between them for mutual benefit. Right. All of these are matters that we will be looking at in the coming weeks. As of now, the region is in churn, lot of uncertainty directly due to the mishaps emanating from Tel Aviv on the one hand and Washington on the other.